of some of these kind of tier 2 Korean teams. Notch and Shield displaying some very nice strategy against the Jin Air Stealths. And here tonight, Samsung Blue making some really sharp play calls here to take down SK Telecom T1. They did nearly everything correctly, and I'm blown away.
You know, I feel like we're starting to enter into the third generation of like really top teams in Korea. You know, we had back in 2011 kind of the first generation teams, the old Blaze, the old Frost and all that. And then earlier this year, I felt like we had the kind of rise of the second generation teams, you know, the KT, SKT coming up there. And now we're kind of seeing this new group come in. Samsung Blue, Najin Shield is getting really good right now. Stealths have a lot of potential. I mean, it's interesting. Kind of a new guard is rising in Korea. And, man, every game we see this week just makes me more and more pumped for Champions Winter. Oh, it's going to be good.
And remember, Samsung Blue is the team that in the group stage of this tournament that Doa and I did not cast. It was last week. But Samsung Blue was in a group with the KT Rolster Bullets and the KT Rolster Arrows and took both of them down to end up in the top of that group. So they've been rolling through some pretty darn good teams to get where they are. And they certainly deserve their spot here in the semifinals. And they're just one game away from ending the WCG career of our world champions, which would be pretty astounding.
It's hard to believe, but man, it's so cool. I love that we're seeing such good games this week. It's like every time we think it's going to be kind of like a one-sided affair, it ends up being an awesome series, and it looks like no change from that tonight. But now the pressure is really, really on for both of these teams. Samsung Blue, you know, they got that win, but you got to think they're going to be a little bit nervous coming into game number 2. I mean, can they continue this run?
Yeah, and there we go. The SK Telecom scarves coming out here in our audience today as we get into picks and bans. And guess what's been banned? It's Nidalee.
Gee, that's a shock, but not a big one.
I'm a bit surprised that they would ban that Nidalee because we know Faker can play it as well. And Zed and Ari taken out immediately from the pool. Renekton down also. So SK Telecom going to be having a very different strategy. Will they take the Shen again this game? And no, Zyra first pick for Mondu, the support of choice.
It's understandable. Mondu is probably the best Zyra in Korea right now, you know, if not the world. He's a fantastic Zyra player. But at the same time, once in a while he has like really awful moments. But I think overall he's a very good Zyra player. Yeah,
that Ezreal being grabbed away, as well as that Elise, no surprise there. And I don't think they're going to. That's not right. Okay, there we go.
That's not right, huh? Not allowed. Monte Cristo says no.
That is the wrong answer to picks and bans, though.
That's right. Incorrect. I'm going to give him an F.
Okay.
F for Faker.
Yeah, that. Now the question is, what is Piglet going to run? Of course, Caitlyn and Vayne, his go-to champions.
Yep. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see either one of those.
Yeah, Caitlyn probably going to come in here just because that Caitlyn Zyra lane is absolutely terrifying, and probably SK Telecom wants to make sure they can win the laning phase pretty handily this time around. Gives you a lot of good options. So Bengi going on the staple Lee Sin pick, probably again. It is open and available and his pick of choice. As of the World Championships, used to play a lot of Jarvan, used to play a lot of Elise, but he's switched it up. His main now definitely the Blind Monk. And there we go. Actually, we will see the Vayne come in.
All right.
And, of course, SK Telecom T1 loves to solo split push with that Vayne.
I was kind of wondering a little bit if we'd see the Vi, too, from Bengi, but I guess not. Looks like we will see probably a Rumble for Chunju. It is his best champion. Banned against him quite a bit.
Yeah, and it did come out in their games against their sister team Ozone, and Chunju did a very good job of creating nice zones with his Rumble ultimate, the Equalizer. I'm excited to see it again. Thresh.
Speaking of zones, there's the box maker.
The box
Thresh.
maker.
I don't know if that's not, you don't see that in like the champion spotlight. Thresh, the box maker. I don't think that's the term.
It's not intimidating enough.
Not really.
Well, very good early dragon control here for Samsung Blue with Thresh, Elise, and Rumble. So we can expect to see some probably pretty early dragon attempts in this game. And Gragas will be picked up. And Tryndamere for impact in the top lane. This is a crazy split pushing comp we've got going on right here.
Yeah.
They're going to have an extremely strong 3-1-1. Faker will be able to clear out the lane if there's a siege. with Gragas, and they're going to be able to split push solo lanes with Vayne and Tryndamere. This is very aggressive, and in response, they may pick up an assassin. Here we go, yeah, an assassin in order to try and deal with this situation, but it's going to be difficult to obviously assassinate that Tryndamere. Ziggs would be okay for wave clear on the side lanes, actually.
It would be. We've seen like one good Ziggs, and he did use his ultimate a lot for that. I think that would be an interesting choice.
Yeah, the question here, there's a small possibility it could be a mid lane Tryndamere and a top lane Gragas. We'll have to see how the trades actually work out. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we do have that Fizz pickup right here. I'm not sure that's going to be the correct answer, just because, of course, with Tryndamere's Undying Rage, can be difficult to assassinate him. But with Ahri and Zed banned out, there aren't a whole lot of other choices.
Yeah.
And this is going to be interesting. We have never seen Impact play Tryndamere before.
I can't believe we were actually seeing a Tryndamere. I mean, that's kind of a solo queue staple for a lot of regions, but not something we see in the pro scene all that much, especially in Korea.
There have been some examples in the EU and NALCS. Voyboy likes to run that top lane Tryndamere from time to time. The problem is that Tryndamere is very one-dimensional. You are going to split push with him, and you're going to split push hard.
Well, we'll see if it works out. There's our lineup for game number 2. SK Telecom putting their WCG hopes in the hands of Tryndamere,
the Barbarian King.
That's right. And here we go, guys. The game is loading up. It is time. Can SK Telecom come back and tie up the series, force at game 3, or will MVP Blue end the run of the World Championship team? We're about to find out. Do not go anywhere. Tell all your friends to watch as well. WCG Korea, game number 2, starting now. Here we go, guys. Game number 2, SK Telecom T1 versus Samsung Blue here on WCG Korea. Our first semifinal match of the Korea National Finals.
Well, I really like the composition that we're seeing come out of SK Telecom T1. It is pretty one-dimensional. Like I was saying, you pretty much have to use Tryndamere just solely for split pushing. And they have a choice to do the 3-1 split push, 3-1-1 split push rather, with Piglet on Vayne here. But also, Gragas and Vayne have a ton of synergy. You can split up a fight and create mini duels for Vayne to really capitalize on her 1v1 potential after using the explosive cask for disruption. So I really like what we're seeing so far. Gives SK Telecom a couple options into how seriously they want to split push. And if they do 3-1-1, of course, Faker able to wave clear quite easily, and the good disengage from Zyra should keep him pretty safe under a turret.
Yep.
On the other side, Samsung Blue, they're going to have to pretty much all in people under towers in order to stop the split push from being effective. And I am a bit concerned because Fizz takes a time to ramp up, and so does Tryndamere, but in the late game, and even in the mid game, Fizz is not going to be able to stop that Tryndamere split push. So maybe a champion that didn't have such a hard ramp time would have been more ideal here.
That Vision Ward way in the jungle. SK Telecom is kind of interesting from Samsung Blue.
Yeah, Samsung Blue, if you remember, this is a team that always has creative level 1s. They have, back in the day, they always had such a high kill rate at level 1. Now, we haven't seen their kind of crazy level 1s where they would all flash a wall and wait in a brush to kill somebody in a long time, but they've always been one of the better teams at level 1s here in Korea.
Well, here we go. We're going to get that 2v2 up in the top lane. Sense taking a little bit of poke from Mondu and Piglet. And that Vayne Zyra lane from Mondu and Piglet, easily one of the most dangerous lanes in the game right now. Gotta be really careful. You're deft in sense.
Okay, well, it's like Bengi is going to go ahead and try and steal this blue buff right here. It'll be noticed immediately by that ward, but
yeah,
no big deal because Spirit does have the good warding down on the blue buff of his opponent, so he'll be able to go ahead and get that should he want it. It looks like he's actually going to come over here and contest this blue buff. This is a bit of an interesting path right here taken by Spirit.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's up to. Okay, he already got the blue buff, excuse me, at the level 1 when they went in, so has the double buffs already. And going to just wrap around and clear out his Golem camp and make sure that that blue buff will get back up as fast as possible.
And so far, Mandu and Piglet have this top lane pushed up pretty far. You need to be careful, though. You do not want to get death sentence under the turret.
Yeah, good eyes so far on to Bengi. They have a very good idea of where he is in this jungle. And Faker actually not doing too great of a job of shoving Pawn out right here on matching him in terms of CS. Not getting too much of a zone down, and actually Faker allowing the wave to move back towards him. I think he's a little worried about Spirit right now as well.
Yeah, wants to have a little bit more room in that mid lane to back off if he needs to. And speaking of Spirit, there he is. He did get spotted by that minion in the front, though, yeah. Yeah, they were showing it. I bet he did have vision of him just a moment ago.
Yeah, he was playing pretty cautiously, and he probably wants the lane to go ahead and push back towards him as well, so he has higher kill potential onto Fizz when Bengi comes.
Yep. And so Faker just waiting to do a little bit more farming into the turret. Whoa, never mind.
Okay, well, not a whole lot of action here so far. Just generally good warding and good ideas of where the enemy junglers are, so they haven't been able to really capitalize on that. Spirit looking for the first gank of the game right here, though. Yeah,
Impact on the run, though. He knows he's coming. Can they catch him? Their Impact activates. It goes nice dodge on the Cocoon, and he's going to get away. That would have been first blood for sure. Meanwhile, Bengi and Faker coming in, trying to get that first blood on Pawn. Barely can't get him with the barrel. Oh, that was close. That cask almost got Faker a little bit of revenge.
Would you say that he barely missed?
Barely missed it, yep.
And in the bottom lane, too, Chunju really telegraphed that gank hard. Impact knew from his change in behavior. He was previously freezing underneath that bot lane turret.
Oh, Faker may be in a little bit of trouble here. Spirit jumping onto him. Pawn, there's the Ignite. Faker running away back to the safety of the loving embrace of Lee Sin.
That's right.
Safe now.
Safe in Lee Sin's arms.
That's right.
Well, Mandu and Piglet doing a good job of shoving this lane very hard early on, creating that pressure with the plants right underneath that turret. Bengi there, just in case. Spirit tries to take advantage of this shove. Good ward in the tri-brush. Bengi smites the Golem and heads back around. Are they going to go after this?
Yeah,
Deft is quite low.
Whoa! Meanwhile, first blood taken by Chunju.
Chunju just going for the 1v1 right there.
Yeah, he got it.
Chunju also hitting level 6 off of that, not even having to use the equalizer there. That was probably a mistake by Impact, given the state of things in that bottom lane.
Yeah, certainly seems that way.
It doesn't
level 6 a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that much, though. Impact now coming back with a Vamp Scepter. You could die a lot as Tryndamere, and as long as you can just continually apply pressure to a lane, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Pawn and Spirit pushing back that mid lane now.
Pawn doing a surprisingly good job again of farming in this mid lane, though. That's going to help him out a lot. So let's check out what happened right here.
Yeah.
Impact just really overcommitting.
Just it seems like he just underestimated the amount of, or overestimated the amount of damage he could do there.
He also couldn't heal up very much because Ignite was down on him. So that looks like a mistake that Impact made because he's not used to playing Tryndamere, not entirely comfortable with the champion yet, not really knowing the limits.
Yep. Ideally, you get all those deaths because you don't know your champion's limits done before you play in the pro match.
Yeah, and look at this too. They know the summoners are down still for Impact. Chunju has his flash up. He also has level 6. This might be a pretty easy kill. Spinning Slash is on cooldown.
Yeah, they're in trouble. There we go. Impact getting jumped on. Can they get him? He's in a lot of trouble now. Yeah, no escape for Impact at all. Oh, Spinning Slash, not enough. And at the same time, Piglet goes down. And Mandu, they're going to get the double. There's the flash. The flash response from Def. A double kill for Def. And he's actually going to escape. But here comes Faker for the revenge kill. Can SK Telecom get their first kill of the game?
Oh,
that is really
this
tricky.
is the death sentence.
Yep. Oh, depth.
Oh, he
but
denied
he gave
the
it to
kill.
Mandu.
Faker was so unwilling to use his ultimate right there
Wow.
that he thought he could get it, but look at that. He managed to dodge the barrel, dodge everything that Faker had, and therefore Mandu coming up with the kill, and that is not good. In the meantime, just free farm all day.
Oh, Sense just jumping on, and there's a box. Thresh 1v1 versus Gragas. Sense needs to make a run for it, though. Nice dodge for the body slam. Wow, what a duel. Sense eventually going to be taken out by Faker, I think, here, but man, that was some impressive dueling from Sense.
Yeah,
that's what I like to see.
And there we go. The tower going to fall in that bot lane. Ping's already going down for Samsung Blue onto this dragon.
Yeah.
And they will have no problem taking this one.
Man, what a series so far for Samsung Blue. They're going to get the first dragon, no problem.
Impact died again in that bot lane as well. Look at this. They set him up with the equalizer.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have to use it during the last fight. They immediately take advantage of that again. And Impact just getting punished here. Never hitting level 6. He's still only level 5, Doa.
Yeah, I guess
Shunju is level 8.
I guess that's one way to shut down a Trinamir, is just never let him hit level 6. Wow, and there's a dragon, already a 3,000 gold lead for Samsung Blue at 9 minutes.
This is an incredibly dominant performance by Samsung Blue.
Yeah.
And props to Pawn, too, for weathering the storm in the mid lane. 2 games in a row. He is looking like he's going to get pretty scary right here. Blue buff taken. And Faker and Bengi coming in, though.
Yeah, oh, Impact. And they're going to get the slow onto Pawn with that mocking shout. Def in a little bit of trouble, comes in with Thresh, though. Def gets another kill. Mandu on the run. Sense going to help him out with this one. There's a ward to keep the vision in the brush. Really nicely done. He's going to go down for sure. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, goodbye, Spirit. Another kill for SK Telecom. Pawn. There's the Ignite, the level 6 finally helping.
Double, triple kill!
No way, Pawn! Pawn is the new Faker. I guess that's just how this is.
Oh, and that is exactly what you don't want to give a Fizz at this point. He doesn't even have his Sheen yet. That was some pretty terrible positioning from SK Telecom T1 to set themselves up for that playful trickster. They thought they could make the dive, but now at only 10 minutes into this game, it is 10-3 in favor of Samsung Blue with a commanding lead.
This is absolutely nuts right now. A 2-0-1 Rumble, a 3-0-0 Fizz, 3-1-1 Def. Let's watch that fight in the bot lane again.
Yeah, taking out Bengi first, and look, Impact getting hit by the tower. Pops his Undying Rage, but again, his healing halved thanks to that Ignite. Wow. And Faker in the wrong place at the wrong time underneath a playful trickster.
That was actually an ace of SK Telecom at like 9 minutes, by the way.
Oh my, yeah, just cross-map kills. And Deft, I mean, I said before this match started, he has a huge reputation as an Ezreal player here in Korea. And look at this, Samsung Blue.
Again. They're caught. There's the equalizer. Death sentence misses, but I don't think it matters. Goodbye, Piglet. Mandu in a lot of trouble as well, trying to get underneath that turret, but it's not going to help. Goodbye, Mandu.
Chunju.
20 minutes. Surrender 20, I guess.
This is brutal. SK Telecom T1 getting absolutely destroyed by Samsung Blue here.
Yeah. A lot of frustration on the faces of the SK Telecom players right now. And man, I am so impressed by Samsung Blue. Faker, and look at the response for that playful trickster, man.
And they don't even get to play Lucian, which is the champion that really got them here. I mean, Deft playing so much. Lucian in the earlier qualifier, Samsung Blue takes out yet another turret, and they will keep on moving up in terms of gold. It is looking grim for SK Telecom T1. It's going to be a while before they can get any kind of split push going because Impact is so far away from that Blade of the Ruined King right now.
I know we were talking about a 2-0 at the start of this cast today, but we weren't exactly talking about it in this regard. And
you know what?
Yes, SK Telecom
you'd think we'd learn better by now because every time here in Korea we're like, oh man, this match is just going to be horribly one-sided. It is either close or, you know, surprising.
I feel like KT Bullets taught us that lesson many times, but apparently we still haven't learned it. And they grab Faker. Can they capitalize on it? Not quite yet. I love this, though. I love that when SK Telecom looks on top of the world, when they win the World Championships, we see another team come up. The skill level in this scene is just absolutely astounding.
Yeah, and it changes up so frequently, too.
Yeah.
Teams tend to rise and fall pretty rapidly.
Which is great. I love it.
With very few teams ever able to stay on the top consistently, Frost and Blaze being the two notable exceptions.
We were talking about this a couple days ago. We were like, well, it looks like SK Telecom, are we going to have our first, or another like big long-standing dynasty here in the Korean scene? And this match really makes you wonder. I mean, no doubt SK Telecom is still one of the strongest teams in the world, but they are just straight up getting outplayed today.
Yeah, and they're making mistakes, yes, but Samsung Blue is also just playing very, very well. Yeah. They're making the proper play calls. Their rotations have been really nice.
It's been
in the last, in the 2 games so far in this series.
Yeah, it's been much more Samsung Blue playing well than SK Telecom playing bad.
It's also, we talk about a lot of teams can get through the laning phase. That's where you pretty much learn the ropes in solo queue. And the real challenge for professional teams is closing games and making good rotations in the mid game and being able to take that advantage and run away with it. And Samsung Blue is demonstrating a very good ability to do that here today.
Yeah, they are snowballing this game pretty adequately. Well, I don't know, what do you say after a first 13 minutes of a game like this?
And Bengi, you can tell too, he's actually deviated from his normal Boots of Mobility build here because he needs that extra tankiness. He's just not able to make plays on the lanes this game. And so he's got to do something else instead. So a little bit of an adaptation here from the T1 jungler. And even Piglet, who is typically rock solid.
0-3-0, and they're going to jump onto Chunju. He's going to get back under turret. Not able to get that kill.
And here we go, 14-minute Lich Bane on Fizz. That is not something you see that often. Typically, Fizz is pretty good if he gets one at 20 minutes. But this time around with those 3 kills and having equal farm to Faker's Gragas, he is just on a roll.
Yep. And can they get this turret? The siege coming in. Looks like they'll won't quite be able to get it right now, but we'll see if it happens in the near future. A lot of damage coming in on the Mandu from that 2-shot barrage.
Yeah, they're playing this very conservatively as well. You can see Fizz not using any of his abilities right there to get the Lich Bane procs off onto the turret. Very cautious play, but even so, they get the tier 2 down to about 1/3 health and now are changing up to the mid lane.
Well, we're seeing a different kind of game from Samsung Blue, but they're still playing it near perfectly with a comp like this. Just very, very aggressive early on. You get that lead, and then you keep it by switching over to a very safe, methodical mid game. I love it. This is a beautiful League of Legends we're seeing here.
It is. And Chunju's still in that bot lane, just calmly stopping that split push of Tryndamere. Normally, you wouldn't be able to stop a Tryndamere split push with a Rumble, but you can when you're 3-0-2.
Yep. Yep. Dragging up as well. Looks like they're going to be rotating over to take that one.
Yeah, there's no way that SK Telecom T1 can contest this.
Yeah. It's going to die way too quick either way. Even if they want to get there in time, they can't. And suddenly, the gold lead extends to 8,000 in favor of Samsung Blue at 16 minutes.
Well, I'm surprised. Are you surprised?
I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, if I had to describe my feelings right now, I think surprise might be one of the top feelings on the list. Yeah. Mind-boggled, astounded. Those are also feelings that I'm feeling right now. I kind of feel bad for the feelings that SK Telecom is feeling at the moment. Can't be fun.
No. But Faker at least going to get a blue buff right here, and Piglet.
Yeah. So there's that.
Very close to his blade, and that'll help him out once he gets it to be able to duel this Ezreal just a little bit better and deal with the Fizz too if the Fizz comes to.
Well, it's still going to be a team that Samsung Blue needs to take seriously. There's still a lot of strength in these champions from SK Telecom, but it's a lot to overcome.
Yeah, and that said, yes, they're 7K gold down, but this split push is so scary that if it gets rolling for SK Telecom T1, they will be a threat in this game if they can start getting some objectives.
But if Mandu gets grabbed, that's not going to help. There's a box to secure it. And Sense, they actually don't get it quite yet. No way he got out. And they're going to have to back off. That is luckiest plant ever. Quan misses with that ultimate, too.
Well, again, they don't really want to overcommit right there. They thought they could get a catch. A little bit of mind games with the ward, waiting for Mandu to come and try and clear.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody backs off. No harm, no foul, I guess. And a turret being taken. that Tryndamere is starting to become a little bit of a bully. He does have his Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, this is the point where Chunju has to be a lot more careful right now, and Samsung Blue has to change up their strategy a little bit, and they're getting close to needing to start grouping and diving. Now, Pawn still doesn't have boots. He opted for that needlessly large rod instead, which is a little disconcerting. He is going to need some of that speed if he wants to get around the map to create picks or to dive under turrets. I'm not sure that was the best option in this situation.
Now they're going to try to catch impact, but that's not going to work.
Yeah, and you're certainly, I mean, you're not going to catch champions without boots, especially when you're talking about Vayne, Tryndamere,
yeah,
Lee Sin, and
not exactly
Gragas.
the least mobile champions out there.
Yeah, so pretty much in this case, his only option is to get a pick and a brush by having somebody face it.
Yep. Oh, they do catch Chunju though. Dropping the equalizer doesn't help. Bengi flashing over the wall. Chunju not. Oh, nice play from Sense. Really good. And then the death sentence. He saves him. Chunju. Oh, he can't back off Mandu. Coming in from behind.
That's some pretty huge shutdown
nice
gold right there. They are closing that gap slowly, and that'll be really important for this Tryndamere. And like I said, this is the time where Chunju really needs to stop doing that. And Piglet is split pushing as well. They're getting into that phase of the game. Def going to go ahead and try and true shot barrage the minion wave, but it's not going to save the turret.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're down to 5K gold here.
Interesting.
So they are doing the 3-1-1 split push like I suspected, and they are using this. But Def, they may be too fed to stop it as Mandu just bites the dust.
Not a lot that you can do against that. Ezreal just walks up and takes out Zyra. And that's still going to be a 3-2 turret lead.
So what do you do right here if you're Samsung Blue? They need to get their act back together. They need to start moving around as 5 at this point in time, because stopping impact, this is a great decision from Samsung Blue. They've got the Baron control, and even though we're still at sub 20 minutes, this is what they need to do.
And with Chunju in that bottom lane, I guarantee you SKT is not thinking about a Baron right now.
Oh, I think they are. They're the dwarves coming down. They see it now. But it's going to die before they can get there.
They should get it. Baker trying to get there in time.
Nice box.
Steal it. Very nice. Good zone there.
Yeah, covering that entire ramp to make sure there was
Baker gets jumped on. There we go. Explosive cast pushing Pawn away. In the meantime, oh, he actually gets it. Baker with the kill.
And that's where you want boots, Noah.
Yep, pretty much. Hard to find boots that fit Fizz, though. That is something to consider.
Yeah.
He's got those like sort of
Flippers.
amphibian feet. Yep. Can't blame him.
Yeah, good use of equalizer though to get him off the turret. However, Pawn finally picking up some boots here. That'll give him a little bit of help. Wow, Piglet going nuts.
Yeah, no kidding. Nearly dies to the turret right there. They got to be careful. Depth is doing a ton of damage. Oh, Impact in trouble. Has to pop the ultimate to stay alive there. And now we've got a good push coming from Samsung Blue. A lot of low health members on SK Telecom. They need to be careful.
Yeah, they do. Pawn now coming out and returning to the lane. So Samsung Blue taking over control of that jungle again. Yeah, I really, the Baron call was a really good one from Samsung Blue right there.
Oh, definitely.
When you're dealing with this split pushing situation, you've got to do the 5-man objectives to counteract that pressure. And that'll just give them a lot more siege and diving potential here moving forward, which is exactly what they need.
They could grab a dragon here fairly soon if they want to. It's going to be up in just a little bit, but for now, grouping up in that mid lane, aside from Chunju is again pushing that bottom lane before recalling.
Yeah, look at this too. They're just trying to power up Piglet right now.
Yeah.
He's been farming empty lanes for most of this game so far as he struggles to get some items.
It's going to be tough to catch Impact. He should be able to get out of this unless he gets hit by the Cocoon. Is he going to? There's the switch. Oh, dodges the Death Sentence. The Cocoon connects though. There's the Flame bringing him in. Pawn going in on everything there. Baker can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's so worth it to trade your support though to stop that split push from Tryndamere. We see Impact going for that static shift next, of course, just to give him that extra little pushing power.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah, Chunju going for the Abyssal Scepter next, and that's going to be extra nasty. Piglet!
Oh, Equalizer comes out. Piglet a little bit caught here. Nice condemn. Pushes back Pawn. They're going to go in on a Binky though. True Shot Barrage coming down. They get that catch. And this 2-2 turret taking a little bit of damage. The siege broken, but not before they lose another member.
Now, this is excellent play from Samsung Blue. Again, this is how you stop the split push. You constantly just go ahead, dive those turrets, take somebody out, and make sure that the lanes are pushed. They took out the main split pusher. He does have static shift now, so he's getting scarier. But even so, Samsung Blue, with some great play calling here, just shut down the team composition threat from SK Telecom T1.
Yeah. Piglet still with no kills in this game. 0